So, Kill, in terms of how these sort of type of movies usually go. I mean, it's not like is truly mathematical movie or anything in the likes of like a beautiful mind or anything that does strive to be mathematical and even philosophical, but that's not even a thriller or crime movie or anything. So different perspective. But as far as these go, I mean, I've also seen Statham in Safe. There was another one I think called uh, Homefront, I think, and none of them usually reference though chaos theory or any other theory really. At best, there was that one movie where a girl somehow had really a really good memory, but that's the extent. It's really a device. It wasn't really. So as far as that goes, you know, I I actually liked it in the sense. I mean, it you know, it's not very different from most other uh of the same type. Most other thrillers, with the exception, of course, of the constant twists until the very end. But yeah, some people might think they're a bit artificial, but I kind of like twists usually, unless they're I mean, they do need to maintain a pretense of interesting sort of. Uh, this sort of did though. I mean, all right. The flicking through a an academic book with highlight on is quite you know comedically cliched, and then somehow using the author's name as a possibly registered pseudonym, whatever. I mean, yeah, so it does sort of have its weak points certainly, and it's not like this is really supposed to be about um, anything beyond violence, but at least there was always violent movies. But if there's also something behind it that might be more interesting, like even at the beginning, but Decker guy tried to co- collect clues and such from even just most simplistic of words. I don't mind that thing, even if it's a bit far fetched, just a bit. But it's not too far fetched. Maybe the yeah, maybe the paper money was a bit far fetched, because uh, first of all, I don't even understand why exactly and what purpose spraying money will serve, unless of course you're not using them at all. But if you're using them, then obviously the scent will be covered up with some other scent. So I don't quite get it. It was just kept in a vault or something. But even then, if they're stolen, I mean, the scent won't be there. So I really don't get what the point of the scent is. And there's no way. Well, I guess if you just leave it in a wallet, I suppose the scent might possibly be retained, but still a bit dubious. And of course, as one of the goofs said, the note seems to have been different from the one earlier put on the table by Statham's character. So yeah, just a slight bit far fetched, but I didn't even notice that goof myself. My first one through, so it's not like it's a major thing anyway. So the problem with this movie then, with regards to of course how it did commercially, is the fact that funnily enough, since it's it's inspired, sort of inspired anyway by chaos theory. Funnily though, its production was marred by chaos indeed, because apparently, first of all, it got very little in profit. So it cost 30 million, probably more. Advertising only made 7 million or something. But that apparently has something to do with the fact that it went direct to video in the US, and that is because this guy who apparently headed, I think it was relativity media, yeah, which of course is another physics concept, like in a way chaos theory, although it's more mathematical than physics, but anyway they correlate. But yeah, this guy did some sort of fraud, ironically, considering this is a movie about a fraud as well, fraudulent, thing. Uh, and yeah, apparently he's in prison right now. So I don't know. But yeah, the his company was shut down and had difficulty finding another, I think, distributor. There, I think. And that's pretty much it. When they found one, it was 3 years later. They decided to only do a direct to video, which presumably doesn't really result in much profit. Presumably, this was back in 2005, and cinemas might have been used even more. So yeah, maybe if released in the cinema, it would have been more successful. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Are these movies usually successful? He's Statham is really one-dimensional, isn't he? Like, all he ever does is these sort of movies. He never does anything else. Barely are there any extras. Like even the fifth element guy. He does some other things sometimes. I think he does some comedy as well. Most actors do multiple genres within different movies, but not this guy, not Jason Statham. No, always this. Like it's really the only movie that I've seen so far that was as a movie by itself, slightly different from all the others. Primarily the fact that it didn't include weapons and blood and battles and whatnot, but not quite against other humans. Yeah, the Meg. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that I noticed is slightly different. Other than that, it's usually I don't know. It's a strange one. Like even Gerard Butler did some things else that ended up in some sort of brain dead so-called action movies, even worse than Statham's movies. But he did do something else earlier on. He just descended into worthless nonsense. So, yeah, Statham's movies are usually not that interesting, but not too boring either. I don't know, they're really strange. They sit somewhere between, and they're all very much alike. I really can barely distinguish between them all. Not that I want to watch them, but I somehow end up watching them because just there's a certain mindlessness to them as well, in a way. And at least there was references to chaos theory, so that's why I'm saying, as far as it goes, even though it's a very much a prop device, very much, sort of uh, it's better than nothing anyway. It's better than an even more thin story. So as far as that goes, yeah, just it would be slightly better if it wasn't just absolute constant shootings. There's just constant violence. That's the problem with a lot of movies. There needs to be obviously some pause. It's always in the pause, even with music. You get pauses and then you get the music. It's crucial in a way, and obviously the story is very important for any movie, and The story here was mediocre at best, really. I can't say much more. So at least your theory was there.